So I went perusing the internet again, and I found something interesting. The top 10 best Cleveland Browns players since 1999. So let's look at this list and let's see if we agree or we disagree with any of the numbers. And if we do disagree, we'll leave it in the comment section why. Let's get right into the countdown. Starting at number 10 and up first is Baker Mayfield. Now we all know Baker Mayfield. He went 29-30 as the Cleveland Browns starter. That's the most successful quarterback in Cleveland since the return of 1999. Let's not forget the Browns were 131-1 before Baker Mayfield's arrival. Now, listen, I am just buttering him up right now, and people are going to come in. Yeah, he should be number one. During his 4-year career, he had 14,125 yards and 92 touchdowns and broke a single season rookie record at the time in 2018 by throwing for 27 touchdowns. But he'll mostly be remembered for being the Browns quarterback that took his team to the playoffs. In this day and age in Cleveland football, that is rare. We all know it's rare. They've only did it twice since 1999, and they beat the Steelers 48-37. Baker was 21 of 34, 263 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Number 9 player of all time since 1999, Phil Dawson, the kicker in Phil we trust. We all remember good old Phil Dawson, probably the greatest kicker that I can remember we've ever had. We still miss Phil Dawson to this day. He was part of the Snow Globe game in Buffalo back in 2007. Later that season, he was on the winning end of the most bizarre wins for the Browns. I know you guys remember this. That 51-yarder he hit against the Baltimore Ravens that initially hit the bar, bounced back in the play, and it was reviewed and correctly called a made field goal to give Cleveland the tie, and then went on to overtime where Dawson hit the game-winning field goal. I remember that. Hopefully you guys remember that play too. 14 seasons in Cleveland, the best kicker we've had since 1999. But his overall accuracy clip was 84%. That's good. His overall accuracy, 84. The great Phil Dawson. Number 8. Who all remembers Tim Couch? The first quarterback the Browns drafted when we came back in 1999. Many suggest Couch could have been a longer, more productive career if he was taken care of in his early years. He was often hurt, often sacked, often running for his life because we did not invest in our offensive line. We did not do Tim Couch any good. He ended up with a 22-37 record, 11,134 yards, 64 touchdowns, and 67 interceptions, but he did help us get to the playoffs in 2002 when he was 8-6 before he suffered an injury that sidelined him for that playoff game, and we all remember Kelly Holcomb. I love me some Kelly Holcomb, but this is about Tim Couch. Despite not winning a lot of games, he had several highlights in his career that will be remembered fondly of fans. We all remember the Hail Mary he threw in New Orleans that stunned him for that 21-16 victory. Hail Mary in New Orleans. We all remember that. Number 7, Joshua Cribbs, kick returner extraordinaire. He did everything for his team during his time in Cleveland. Some even thought you could have put Cribbs on defense and he would have helped the poor Browns. Some of us thought that. Used to be a quarterback when he was in Kent State. He was second in the record books to the previous kick returner, Eric Metcalf. the legend Eric Metcalf. He also caught passes, ran quarterback out of the Wildcat from 2005 to 2012. But the best part of Cribbs' stories is that he was an undrafted free agent after being invited to training camp. Joshua Cribbs. I mean, listen, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know Joshua Cribbs, just YouTube him. YouTube him. This dude was a sensation, a kick return connoisseur, a punt return demon. I don't know what else to say. What else can I say about Joshua Cribbs? But in 2009, he also ran the ball on offense 55 times, 381 yards, and a touchdown. In that year, he went to the Pro Bowl. We also used him at receiver in 2011. 41 catches, 518 yards, and 4 touchdowns. He was named to the Pro Bowl 3 times in his career, 2007, 2009, 2012, and he was an Associated Press All-Pro in 2012 as well. What else can I say about Joshua Cribbs? But my goodness, this dude is elite. Number 6, Joe Hayden. We don't care about his Steeler career. All we care about is the Browns' 7th overall pick in 2010. During his first season, his rookie season, he had a string of 4 straight games where he had an interception. He ended up grabbing 19 of those and returned 1 for a touchdown in his career in Cleveland. He forced 7 fumbles and recorded 6 of them. He made Pro Bowls in 13 and 14. Just that career right there. We can just stop it right there. That's all we need to know. That's why he's number 6 with Cleveland. I don't care about its Pittsburgh stats. I'm not reading them. But Joe Hayden was one of the best cornerbacks in Cleveland Browns history. Number 5, Kevin Johnson. Also drafted in 1999, a 2nd rounder after Tim Couch was drafted number 1 overall out of Syracuse. He was the number 1 receiver. By 2001, he collected another 2 games of going over 100 yards. He also had 9 games of catching 5 passes or more. Also, in 2002, he had another 8 games with 4 or more catches. There have been wide receivers who've come and gone from Cleveland, such as Josh Gordon, who was spectacular for a season like he was in 2013 with 1,646 yards. But ultimately, a player like Kevin Johnson was symbolic and a talented member of those early teams that helped define their grit, despite the team was less talented. Kevin Johnson. Number 4, Braylon Edwards. He went to the worst college ever. Braylon Edwards. He was not a fan favorite when he was drafted out of that stupid team up north. But he did enough to grab the number 4 spot in the top 10. He had a lot of hype coming out of the draft. Went to the Pro Bowl in 2007. We should have made the playoffs that year with the 10-6 record, but we faltered down the stretch of that campaign and got shut out of the postseason. What put him on this list was that he was known for scoring touchdowns often. He ended up with 28 of them in 62 games. He had 238 receptions for 3,697 yards, all while in a Browns uniform. Edwards had some impressive individual performances in his 4 seasons in Northeast Ohio. Close runner-up in the top 10 with another receiver was Jarvis Landry. They didn't put on the list, who played for the Browns from 2018 to 2022. He did a lot in the recent years to bring the Browns back from having lousy teams. And he finished his career with 3,560 yards and 15 touchdowns in 59 games. So the numbers are very similar between the 2 wide receivers, but Edwards having many more touchdowns and the ability to better separate from the defenders and stretch the field is the reason they put Edwards on this list and not Jarvis Landry. So you can sound off in the comments if you agree or disagree. Number 3 is Myles Garrett. 6 seasons with the Browns now, and we all know he had 16 sacks in 2021, 16 sacks in 2022. We all know this dude is a machine. He's already got the franchise record in sacks. What else can he do? We're on a mission to find out because we still got him. He had a 4.5 sack game against the Chicago Bears and Justin Fields. Drafted number 1 overall in 2017. We know about the helmet thing with Mason Rudolph. That's never, ever going to go away from his resume. It is what it is at this point. But I am looking forward to see what Myles Garrett is going to do for his Hall of Fame career in Cleveland. Number 3, Myles Garrett on the top 10 list. And at number 2, it's my guy, Nick Chubb. This dude is climbing the Browns record books. Now, this article was written, looks like back in January. So back in January, he is currently in 4th place behind Mike Pruitt, Leroy Kelly, and the great Jim Brown. He's gone over 1,000 yards on the ground for the 4th time in 5 seasons. And he would have went his rookie year if he wasn't behind Carlos Hyde. He had 996 yards. I don't know what you want me to say about Nick Chubb. I can say everything because I love this man. I love him. But back in 2018 and 2019, he recorded 4 carries each of 40 or more yards. And, well, it has a career of 5.2 yards per carry average. What more do you want me to say? But we always say, give Nick Chubb the freaking football. He's only had 7 fumbles in his career and had 74 games. For context, Mike Pruitt had 37 fumbles in 124. Leroy Kelly had 47 fumbles in 136 games. And the great Jim Brown had 57 fumbles in 118 games. Nick Chubb, number 2 on our list. Who's number 1? The great Joe Thomas, Hall of Fame extraordinaire. The former Wisconsin Badger. 10,363 snaps in 167 games. I don't know if we'll ever see that again. 10-time Pro Bowler. Hall of Famer, Joe Thomas. In addition to the Pro Bowls, he was a 6-time All-Pro and part of the NFL Pro Football Hall of Fame All-2000s team. Joe Thomas. I don't know what else to say. We all should have known he would be number 1 on this list. This guy was amazing, never missed a snap. The only thing that sucks is that he never got to play for an elite Browns team. A good Browns team is that he had quarterback after quarterback after quarterback after quarterback. Joe Thomas, number 1 on the list. Who do you not agree with? Who would you take off? Let me know in the comment section below. That's your top 10 since 1999. That is it. I don't make the list. I just tell you what they say. Now you get in the comments and tell me where they went wrong, or do they have it exactly right? Who knows? But this is why we peruse the internet.